Hi there. Welcome to the Great CEOs podcast, where we talk to great CEOs and find out what makes them great. I'm your host, Pam Singleton. I'm a partner with the Inc. CEO Project, and today we're here with yet another great CEO, Mat Orrego, who is CEO of Cornerstone Information Systems, located in beautiful downtown Bloomington, Indiana. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, Pam, how are you?
Matt. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Thanks for being here. Now, Matt, I've watched you over the last few months in challenging circumstances with COVID, and so I can indeed attest to your greatness. But tell us about your business, the problems you solve for customers, and how you solve them.
Yeah, we are in a challenging time for all of us, many industries, and especially Cornerstone being involved so deeply in the travel industry. So everyone knows how travel has been impacted. So Cornerstone Information Systems is one of those behind the scenes companies. We're a technology and services provider that primarily, as I said, focuses on travel, but really in the automation of process for the travel industry. So a lot of those things sort of behind the scenes, as I said, the process of transactional fulfillment is what I call it, and around the issues around payment and ticketing, traveler communications, things like schedule changes and refunds and exchanges, all these things that for many, many years, were done by people behind the scenes in call centers, and we've helped automate a lot of that workflow. And just along with, just general back office kind of automation, things that, involve data acquisition and setting up data models and business intelligence and analytics and the integration of all of that data into downline and upline systems. So a lot of APIs, a lot of integrations with back office systems, ERP providers, payment processes, contracts, suppliers, all of that. And in all of that, when it's well put together, really brings a very productive and cost-effective transactions for our customers. And our customers are very large brands like American Express and Expedia and some of the larger brands. And we work directly with many buyers as well too. Big buyers like the U.S. federal government, which we do quite a bit of work for, as well. So that's just generally, that's generally our world, is the back end of travel. You don't see us much, but we're there. We're back there, automating, things.
And you provide tremendous visibility and transparency to your clients,
yes,
which allows them to make better decisions and ultimately reduce their costs.
Absolutely. So not only, you're right. Not only are we reducing costs, on the fulfillment of those transactions, but providing really good intelligence so that they can better work with their suppliers, better work with, how they do their staffing and how they do their expansion on a global basis, all of those things.
It's real-time data, so they can actually make a difference.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Much of it is real time for sure, because it gets driven into decision platforms, on a real time basis into the CRM system, so that when somebody books a trip, they immediately see it in their call center, and it's there for them to action if they have to take any and make any decisions on. But then also, for a deeper analysis later as well too.
Right. You have a number of Fortune 500 customers. You mentioned a few. Why do they choose Cornerstone, and why do they take it?
Well, it's one of those things where, it's the expertise of, the back end that a lot of people don't have. So, I think we've got some pretty slick technology, but we've got some really, really smart people that have put together that technology in ways that it adapts to all sorts of different scenarios. And so, a lot of our customers have made, very strategic investments themselves in their own technology, especially on the front end. So, beautiful websites where you can go in and purchase travel, or have wired it up from an expense and financial perspective. And they want to work with all those processes as they are. And so we have to bring the value to them through our system. So, part of it is that we integrate well. It's very flexible, open platforms that we have. And then we've got a lot of really smart people that are able to make that easy, for our customers to understand and to implement.
What percentage of your revenue recurs every year?
Gosh, about 70%, and so 70% of it, mostly technology, some of it, long-term contracts that we have with customers, but mostly on the technology side of it. The balance is really around the implementation side of things. So when we're onboarding a customer, lots of times, we do it ourselves. It's kind of a complex process. But then, it's a build, operate, and then we transfer it to the customer eventually, so their costs then go down so that they can do some of the self-service themselves and sort of maintain the systems. But we're there, regardless, to help them out. But, around 70%.
So let's see, Cornerstone's been around for about 12 years. Is that right?
Gosh, 27 years.
But has it really been 12 years?
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's huge. Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been through all these different phases in the industry. I mean, from the not very manual, the not very automated, very manual, to the becoming manual, and at the beginning of 2000 to now these wonderful cloud-based, solutions out there, and just the whole digital transformation of the travel industry, which so many industries have undertaken as well too. But I would say that you're not far off. That there is a new Cornerstone that emerged 12 years ago, because being around almost 30 years, you sort of have these 10-year tranches of different phases that you go through. So they're each kind of new companies.
So if you could eliminate one bottleneck or constraint to growth right now, what would it be, and why would you eliminate it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing that makes us successful too, is that the travel industry is one of those industries that has a lot of legacy technology. There's an underlying framework, if you will, and construction of how things are done that have been there for many years, and it's difficult sometimes to work with. You can bring new technologies to it, but these older reservation systems, these older processes that are underlying, that carry a lot of the load of the travel industry and transactional processing, are not that accessible or easy to work with. So we have to pull data out, do things with it, and put it back into the old. So, it's a major constraint, and it's costly as well too. But now there's emerging new technologies. These platforms are getting upgraded to newer technologies. They're more open. They're following different kinds of architecture that allows for faster implementations and faster uptimes, and the ability to innovate quicker. So that's a constraint that we face for years, but it's also where a large amount of our expertise is, and why people come to us. But if I was able to open that up, we could move a lot faster.
Yeah. Okay. So how many hours a week do you work, and what do you focus on? How do you allocate your time?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of it, I'm a big planner, so I like to organize my life, and then I found, that, a lot of what makes me productive are the things that I'm able to do while I'm not working, so really focused on, on things like sleeping. I mean, 20 years ago, I said, who needs sleep? Sleep's for later. But, I guess you get older, you go like, wow, sleep actually makes you productive. Exercising, a little mindfulness and, and meditation help you out. A little reading, outside of just work things help you out. So, a good week for me is, 35 to 50 hours, of work. But, I'm involved in various, projects. I mean, so whether it's Cornerstone and I tend to look at Cornerstone from a project basis too. And then I've got other companies that I work with and other projects that I get involved with. So I got to plan for my time and make sure that I'm highly entertained all week. and you've got to be really selective for that.
Well, you talked about a little bit about fun and how you're entertained all week, but I happen to know, because I worked with you for a number of years, that you focus a tremendous amount on strategy and your business model. And it's been a challenging several months with COVID, and you've proven yourself great just right there. So what have you delegated over these last 6 months of COVID misery?
Yeah, well, we've made a couple, we've made some cutbacks, within the company to get, more streamlined and focused. Delegation has been a big part of that. I'm a big believer that you got to give people a direction to go in, and then give them responsibility, and then let them run with it. So, a lot of I've looked at the business now, especially now. I always have, but especially now. What are the most important things that are delivering value, that are delivering revenues, that are delivering cash, all of that, and making sure that I've got really good people in charge of those things, and letting them run with that, and trying to make their environment as streamlined as possible so that they can get the work done. So
what major responsibility have you delegated in the last 6 months? This is a test.
Revenue growth,
Okay.
to people. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'll let you get away with that one.
What was the test question?
Just to make sure that you delegated something.
Yeah, I did.
Major responsibility. What defines your approach to being CEO? What have you learned over the years?
Yeah, I mean, time is precious, so like I said, you spend time, planning for it. It's part of the whole delegation thing. But once people know what I want, stay out of the way and let them do their job. I mean, and, obviously establishing checkpoints with them and things like that. But, for me, it's, I really value, people's work and how they do it. And if it syncs up with, what accomplishes, the objectives for the company, I let them roll, with it. I mean, I'm not a hands-on, micromanager by any stretch of the imagination. And, maybe that's because I appreciate that, in the role that I have within the company and how I get to spend my time. I think that just transfers, in my style and, in my approach.
All right, fair enough. You spent a lot of time preparing for the new normal and adjusting to the COVID, and you've really positioned Cornerstone to be solid right now and prepared for growth.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for us, it's really, crisis is what creates growth for us.
Yes.
I certainly didn't want this crisis. I mean, but, a good old fashioned economic recession, is, little banking crisis in 2008, 2007 there, certainly helped us because it just sort of downsizes the entire industry a bit. And then right away, the recovery just brings a lot of business our way. We're seeing the same opportunities here. It's just a little bit more severe, and and there's going to be a loss of customers. There's going to be some more, longer term impacts because of this crisis, though. And that I don't wish on any industry, and especially the people that, and the companies that have been impacted.
Mm-hmm. Not only do you focus our customers in the travel industry, but I know you yourself have fueled quite a lot of travel and travel transactions over the years with business and fun. Now that you're grounded, what are you doing for fun?
Yeah, so I do a lot of bicycling. I do a lot of things that have me go from one place to another and discover new places. I didn't realize all the cool places around Bloomington, Indiana that I could bike to. You slow down a bit in life, and you discover all sorts of new things around you that you didn't see when you were just moving really fast. So that's been a real joy in some ways, which has been to discover things that are closer to home. I mean, I was always kind of obsessed, I guess that's the right word, obsessed, about maybe getting to the next place, in a different country, a different city, exploring going to a new restaurant, going to a new place, and and all of a sudden it just you just get on that track of things, and there's a lot of new stuff just right under you and right around you to be discovered.
Especially in Bloomington.
Yeah. So yeah, I've just got I spent a lot of time just finding new things to do around here. And
There's never a dull moment. That's absolutely sure.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you, Matt, for being here.
Thank
Good
you,
luck
Pam. Enjoyed it.
with the next several years. And thank you all for joining us, and join us again for another episode of the Great CEOs Podcast.
Thank you.